Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Fools Rush In on what is a very special day, particularly for one of our panelists, as we congratulate Woody and his partner Alicia on the birth of their new daughter, Ember Rose. Lovely name, by the way, Woody. Congratulations to the whole family, and we're very happy to hear that everyone is well. So yeah, congratulations to you guys. I'm joined, as you can see, by all the usuals, and they are in, well, interesting mood tonight, that to say the least. So we'll do our introductions. How are you, Ben?
I'm all right, Stephen. I'm well. Yourself?
Good, yeah, good, thank you. Warren, good evening.
Evening, gents. How are we all doing?
Very well. Kieran as well. How are you, pal?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Stephen. Like Gerard, not Fry.
and Rich is here as well, although his attention seems to be elsewhere because Republic of Ireland are on the telly in the background, but I'm sure he'll offer an opinion or two.
Jonathan Douglas playing for him, yeah.
Evening, gents. How we doing?
How are things, Woody? All right?
Yeah, I'm still awake.
Good.
Yeah. I'll let you know if I'm not.
Good. Well, we'll soon. If you nod off, then don't worry. We've all got your sections covered just in case. And the man who we've decided is clearly being paid too much per appearance for his trim new hair and his flashy hoodie and his new Galaxy Tab as well that he seems to be doing this on. How are you, Craig?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, all good. Yeah, it's a tough life being a train driver.
Well, you're always late everywhere.
Well, we have had to start this about 20 minutes after we were due to, mainly because Ben disappeared to a different county to make a cup of tea. Let's kick off, and I normally get complaints if we don't start with Rich. So, Rich, talk to us about the FA Cup win.
Well, in the words of the absent Ned, they were rubbish. Crew. No, we battered them off the park, really. We were just fantastic. Every single player on that pitch on Saturday was a 10 out of 10, apart from Frenchie, who somehow or another got injured again. I don't know where he's picking these injuries up from. But literally, what happened to Frenchie? I don't even know. He put his foot on the ball, and then he went down. Anyway, aside from that, what a fucking goal what two great, fantastic goals by Louis Reed, and brilliant ball by McCurdy for Simpson's goal.
But which was an equally well taken goal as well, to be fair.
Oh, it was fantastic finish. And I just thought there's not an awful lot really to say. They were just brilliant, Swindon. And if we can just carry that on, it's a shame we don't have a game this weekend. But if we can bring that into Newport next week, we're just fucking great away from home at the moment. We're on a different level away from home.
And Ben, obviously, that sees us into the second round. What would a cup run mean, do you think? Obviously, there's the financial benefits, but for fans who, we don't often see the second round anymore.
Oh, yeah, it would mean a lot, really. Obviously, there's the financial bonus and what that may bring as well in January. But yeah, it wouldn't be nice going to even a championship, like even something like Derby or something like that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just a decent away game.
For the Midlands branch of the STFC supporters like me and you, maybe.
Yeah, we'd love it. Leicester again would be good, wouldn't it? But just some big games, big away games would be nice. It's been so long since we've been one. I tweeted after the game, this has equaled our best run since the PDC games, which is the second round. We've been abysmal in the FA Cup. I've hated it. We've been a joke. And it looks like we're taking it seriously. It looks like we actually want to proceed in the Cups. Well, actually, it's like we're being a properly run club, which we're not used to. We're actually giving a shit. Out of the, I think we played 6 cup games so far, 5 cup games this season. We've won 4 of them, and we've drawn 1, which we lost on pens. That's brilliant. So, yeah, long may it be the case. So, cup round would be amazing. Brilliant. Happy days.
Warren, Rich mentioned him there, but Reed in particular came out for praise after the performance. After the result for his performance. But that again, linking into what Rich said, so many players came out with credit for the level of performance that was made.
Yeah, 100%. Against a higher league opposition. Yeah, Crewe are not doing very well in League One, but they've always been a difficult team. I believe when we've played them, they've always been tough. I think the manager Artel's always played a decent brand of football with them. They've got some good youngsters. I think they are struggling obviously a bit this season, but you know, I mean, away from home, like Rich was saying, we just look very, very good. We just look suited to it, don't we? We find the gaps, we play in the spaces, and everyone just seems to perform really, really well. Yeah, not much really more to be said. That when echoing what Ben said, a cup run would be brilliant. I love a cup run. I think it'd be brilliant for the club, for the fans. Just to be in that third round draw, if we do make it, is very exciting, isn't it? Because everyone gets excited about who they want, who we're going to get. And yeah, long may it continue. But yeah, the performances are really, really good away from home. We keep going on about the home form. It's got to swing someday, and hopefully it does very soon. But yeah, no, very good performance. Another great performance away from home.
I was just going to say, I think the fact that now we have got an away draw in the next round, it's our best shot to get into the third round, considering the way we're playing away from home.
Well, let's talk about that. Kieran, obviously we've drawn Walsall away. Winnable?
Yeah, well, every game's winnable, isn't it, until it's played. No, I think it's a winnable tie. It's not so much of a banana skin, because if you did lose it, you're going up to a team in the same league. But I think it's winnable. There, we're higher up in the league than them. I know it doesn't matter too much in the cups where you are in the league, but I think on paper it's a very, very winnable tie for us. They haven't had a chance to sort of look at us yet this season because we've not played them, so I think that's going to do us good as well. And yeah, I reckon we can win it quite easily.
And Woody, linking into what Warren said, I know that the home form comes up every week and we talk about it, but you kind of get the impression if our away form stays like this, at some point it's going to click at home properly, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Scott Lindsay said it on Tuesday, didn't he? Is it Scott Lindsay that they interviewed after the Newport game? He mentioned that it could easily swing the other way as well.
Mm-hmm.
It could easily go that we end up going on a run with home games. Yeah, I think at the moment it's whether it's a concern. Whilst we're winning away games, the only reason it's a concern is to attract crowds.
Yeah.
But if we started losing the odd away game here and there, and then all of a sudden we need to start relying on the home pitch being almost a fortress, because I know it doesn't happen very often, but I definitely still remember the home pitch being a fortress at some point down the years. But I think you look at, I know we're going to talk about it, but you look at Tuesday night's win. You look at the way that we're playing at the moment can be transitioned. I think Garner's tweaked it a little bit, very slightly from what I've seen on highlights, because unfortunately I haven't been to a game for a couple of weeks, but he's tweaked it very slightly, and I think that's transitionable depend no matter who the opposition is. I think we're now starting to learn how to break down a tough opposition. So I'm pretty confident we're going to start turning it around at home. I think we're in for quite a good set, especially second half of the season. I think because we've got the depth in the squad that a lot of other teams have. Well, saying that, we're talking about Crawley later, but a lot of the other teams haven't. I think that's going to play in a massive advantage to us when we start playing home games in the second half of the season.
No, absolutely, completely agree. And Craig, as Woody alluded to there, obviously it was a week of good cup results for Swindon. Obviously, we then went into Tuesday night's Papa John's Trophy game and got another win to make it 3 from 3 in the group, and a win at home.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me about the Papa John's Trophy.
I know what a big fan you are. It was purposely done.
Subject. No, I mean, in all seriousness, it's good for those players who haven't had a good run in the team yet to get out there. People like Parsons and the two young lads as well who made their debuts. That's great news, and it's also a positive for the future. You know how we're going to be in developing players and giving youngsters a chance, and of course getting the win. I was delighted for Jordan Lydon to get that goal. He's really had a hard time with it lately with obviously with his injuries and everything, and hopefully he can get back into a position where he can sort of challenge to get into the first team. But that's going to be hard with the form that Louis Reed's in at the moment. So yeah, it's a great result. We're through to the next round, and I mean, my personal opinions of that competition aside, it is a good. It's obviously good for the club, and a win's a win, and it's good for morale at the end of the day.
Ben, do we start taking the Papa Johns a bit more seriously now?
I think the club has, because it's actually of use to them now, because we've got to a position where we've got players like Lawson, Leiden and co, who aren't getting games for the first team because we're playing so well, and we seem to be having a consistent team as well of a group of players, nucleus players, that are getting games, leaving the others a bit threadbare. So it's actually to our advantage for the first time. We can actually give these players a game, and they're not bad players. We've actually got a bit of decent squad depth. We're a bit short in one or two areas, but if we've got good players to fill in, like you're saying, if Louis happens to Louis Reed, I'm quite happy for Leiden to step in for a game or two and do the job that Reed does. So it's whilst it benefits us, I'm happy as long as we stick to the same team throughout the competition. I'm happy with that. So I'd like these players, these sub players, playing throughout until we get to the final, if we get there.
I mean, it's an interesting point. On the flip side, Warren, as great as it is to dream about an FA Cup run and to an extent even a Papa John's Trophy run, particularly, I mean, things might change in January, but we have mentioned several times over the last few weeks and couple of months about the size of the squad. Do we start to worry that too many cup runs becomes a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think the more games, the better. I think it gives competitive minutes to players that are not playing. I went on Tuesday night. I'm not like Craig. I'm not a massive fan of the tournament, but it's a good thing to go and watch. And normally they're quite a slow, lethargic game, but fair play to Newport. They had a go. I thought it was quite a good, entertaining game, to be honest, for a 1-0. I thought, the young lads at the back played very well. I thought Rob Hunt played really well. Just want to mention Rob Hunt. He slotted in at centre back, and I thought for a right back or a left back or a wing back, wherever he plays, he slotted in at centre half, playing alongside the two young lads, and looked a really experienced head back there. And he guided him through the game. And I think he sometimes doesn't get as much praise as he deserves, Rob Hunt. I think he's a really solid player. But yeah, back to what you said, I think it's great for these players to get the minutes. Like Ben said, with Leiden, it's massive. And as long as they show the loyalty to these players, throughout the whole part of the tournament, and not suddenly get to the end and then go, oh, we'll chuck the big boys in. I don't think that's fair. I think the league's got to look after itself with our best 11. And when it comes to this sort of tournament, I think you've got to let the fringe players get their competitive minutes, because it's only going to benefit them if they're needed in the first team in the league. Then it's going to help massively.
I'd still play the first team if we get to the final, though. I want a trophy. Well, that's what the Premier League clubs do with the League Cup. Once they get to the final, their first team comes out. And I think same with this. I want a trophy at the end of the day. If we can win a double this year, what great season that would be.
It's all about the treble, surely, at the minute. The infamous League 2 FA Cup Papa John's Trophy treble.
We're going on a
do the
European tour next year,
quadruple, mate. Wiltshire County Cup as well. Wiltshire Premiership, whatever it is in these days. Fucking quadruple, mate.
Woody, picking up on the point of getting competitive minutes, and I think it was Ben mentioned it as well. Obviously, congratulations to the two young lads who made their debuts, and again, another reason why this competition is crucial for lower league teams. It is a chance to start bleeding one or two young players.
Yeah, I think you asked the wrong person first, really, because I actually quite like this competition. But but that aside, that is one of the reasons. It is a good opportunity for us to be able to bend the rules slightly and play some of our youngsters. Technically, the reason that we can do it is nothing to do with that 5 thing. It's because it's not an FA affiliated competition, but it's I mean, it was great to hear. I mean, you can just imagine. I think they interviewed one of the lads' parents on the radio, and it's just. I know it's only the Papa Johns, and I know it's only, but for that 18-year-old putting on that shirt for a team that he's been at since he was 7 years old, that's quite a big deal for him. And we don't have enough of them. We haven't had enough of them over the past few years. Obviously, we had Twiney, and we could all argue that Twiney wasn't given enough opportunities to start with. In fact, he definitely wasn't given enough opportunities to start with. Parsons, even to a certain extent now, is starting to disappear a little bit. But yeah, that those are what those. It's the PJT is treated a little bit like how the Premier League clubs treat the League Cup.
Yeah,
it's the opportunity for league clubs to treat it like the Premier League clubs do the League Cup. Try your new players, bring your players back, and all that kind of stuff. So it works. It works for that reason. I'm in my own mentality. If a game's worth winning, you might as well try and go and win it. So I don't care what team. If I think that team's going to win the game, that wasn't a bad Newport side in terms of the personnel they put out.
And that's what the credit goes to those young lads at the back, because they were physical at the top end of the pitch. They had Hilton up there as well, who's always been quite a lively player that I've rated quite highly, Hilton. And they were going for it, Newport. They needed a point to qualify, I believe. So they were proper going for it, and fair play to them. They stepped up, those young lads.
I was going to say, can I just say that Minton and Whitcomb, the two young centre halves, they're not even professional footballers. They're only second-year scholars.
Yeah.
So just take that for a second, and the fact that they played against some professional footballers who have been playing in the Football League, that is absolutely unbelievable. And
they were chucking themselves in front of everything. Yeah. Block after block. They made
2,000 fans as well at the county ground on Tuesday. So that in itself, for a kind of trophy that a lot of people slag off, 2,000 fans there on Tuesday. That I thought that was brilliant. That is the same amount of fans that was at the FA Cup game at Crewe on Saturday.
It's mad when you think of it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
So Woody, there was something else you wanted to throw in there.
The two aren't even 18 yet, so that's an unbelievable achievement.
Well, I've got to consider they were playing against Voldemort as well. Big shout out to the boys.
He is going to absolutely cleave him if he gets the chance. And they play.
Well, he's not playing. That's why he did it. He's going to be sitting there waving at him from the subbench, going, "All right."
Oh yeah.
But instead,
Evan Ellison will find a way, though.
He'll be clubbed at the Rodney Parade instead, wouldn't he? He'd be like, yeah.
Kieran, the draw is on Saturday, I believe, and
Saturday at half time of a football match is a draw for a cup competition, like or like before a match. It's ridiculous, but yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, we know the 4 possible outcomes of who we're going to play.
Fucking going to be Walsall, isn't it?
Walsall, Pompey, MK Dons, or Colchester. Is there any one of the 4 you prefer, or anyone you want to avoid?
I don't really want to play Walsall again, but I'd take them or Colchester. Portsmouth, they have got to the final and close to the final quite a few times in this competition the last few years. Obviously, they luckily beat Sunderland on penalties 2 years ago, and I think they got quite close to the final last season as well before Sunderland went on to actually win it. So yeah, I don't. But then again, Portsmouth. It'd be a good test for us anyway for the lads that are sort of in there coming back. But I think, you've got to play everyone to win it if you're going to win it. But I think at this stage, I take it, and how busy sort of December is for us, I sort of take Walsall or Colchester. So we're not. So Garner doesn't go, oh, shall we play a stronger side for this Portsmouth team or something like that, I think would be the one. But I think people's attitudes towards it, the attendances are going up in this competition throughout the country. I think the attitude towards it has sort of been, it's not going anywhere now, especially with the way the Premier League sort of bailed out EFL clubs with the money during the pandemic, and when we couldn't have fans in. So I think people's attitudes are starting to turn back up to a game, and they're starting to be nearly attended as well as sort of Johnson's Paint Trophies games were, because they were never particularly well attended. There's always sort of 2,000 to 4,000 at them. When this competition was introduced, it was definitely the lowest I'd seen for this type of game at Swindon, especially when we played Oxford in that first year. There's like 2,000 fans there for that. It was mad. But yeah, I think they're slowly going to start creeping back up, and I think as soon as you see us get into if we get into the sort of go further than this knockout round as well, you start to see the 4,000, 5,000 creep back in, everyone jumping on it. So I think people are starting to warm up to the competition, which is a good thing while you're playing EFL clubs. I just don't like the under 21 teams being in it.
We come to the section of the week, Woody, where I'd normally ask you for an update on SCFC women. Understandable if you're not fully prepped for that, but or are you?
Well, the first team, I only am kind of prepped for it because I popped to their training before I came onto this call. But never mind looking after my newborn kid.
As long as the women's team's okay.
Yeah, as long as they don't even know yet. It's going to be the first announcement. No, but they've got a very tricky tie. They got the FA Cup on Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it is.
I did make notes just in case. Sunday.
Yeah, against Southampton. As well, the Southampton. I know I mentioned before about the mixture of Southampton teams that are down there.
Yeah.
So this isn't the Southampton women's side, but it's the Southampton women's side. So
that's clear as mud.
Yeah. So it's the one that's actually affiliated to the actual Southampton side club. That have ploughed loads of money in it and have risen through the leagues over the last 3 to 4 seasons. I took a team down to their training ground to play it. It was amazing. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky game. League above, we've got a few injuries. It's the FA Cup again, though. You wouldn't believe it, but the FA Cup magic does go down into the women's game as well. So, I think it'll be a difficult game, and it'll be a very, very impressive win if they get the win. But yeah, it'll be a difficult game. But just on the point that Kieran made earlier about the televised JPT at the half time and that, the FA Trophy is not televised. The FA Vars draw is not televised. So it makes you wonder where the money's coming from, where there must be money somewhere, because the Papa John's Mickey Take Trophy is still being televised for a draw. So it does make you wonder where the money's balancing sometimes. But yeah, that aside, women's, I think they're away. I'm sure they're away.
They are.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they are, because I dropped off the away kit. That's why I was going to their training. I've got baby brain.
And I do believe they go into it at least in some form, because they won last weekend at Maidenhead.
Yes, they won against Maidenhead. They're going into a series of fixtures now, apart from the FA Cup, where games that they should be getting points out of. As I think I mentioned before, that they were playing a lot of teams that are kind of expected to be in the top half of the table.
Well, you can't get points out of an FA Cup game, can you?
The face, he is not happy that you've interrupted him with that.
He's gonna kill you.
He is gonna
40 fucking hours, Kieran. All right. Since I last clicked that snooze button on my alarm clock.
40 hours in his day.
With your uncle in the background there. But yeah, so yeah, and I think they got like Buckland and Poole and all that coming up as well. The bad news is, unfortunately, the Exeter game looks like it's going to be rearranged till the 19th of December, which means it won't be on the county ground pitch because of the way the men's team's fixtures land. So I think they're trying to push that game to one of the games in January, I hope, where I think the men's are away. I think it might be two weeks in a row or something.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the update on that. It's a shame because Exeter have a good following with the women's team.
Would it be better doing that with the ladies team, sort of like in the spring, or that sort of March, April time when the weather's a bit nice and more people probably would?
I don't know, mate. I'll pick up the phone to Clem now and ask him.
Make it happen.
Yo, Clem.
Well, we do know that he's a regular viewer of this, so I'm sure he'll be in direct contact.
He's asked the mailbag, hasn't
Well, indeed. Kieran, you stepped up to help Woody out by getting the FPL update ready as well. I presume you're going to be presenting that to Woody's high standards.
Yes, well, this week's been very interesting again. There's been no movement in the table. There's been no movement.
God's sake.
So still the bottom is Jiggers 11, which is Gary Johnson, who still we don't know if he's alive. He pops
Hashtag
in a
one
message
show.
in the group
One show.
chat every now and then, just to.
One-
Well, he is just living up to his name, one show and about one message every 2 weeks. Next, we have the Ned report himself, Powerhouse Ned's 11, who's 7th out of 8, sitting with 42 points this week. So he's got 478 overall. He's sitting in 7th. 6th is your host, Stephen Fife. He got 33 points this week, so not a great week for him. 5th, sitting very much nearly mid-table, is Free Draws for a Win and Ben Nichols. He got 36 points this week. 4th is Wazza FC. Sounds like your wine. Your Wazza. It's just a team full of Wazzers. He got 34 points this week, so just beating Ben. So it wasn't the lowest scoring because Ben was in fact the lowest scoring. No, sorry, Steve was the lowest scoring with 33. Sitting in 3rd with 50 points this week. Nearly 2nd highest, but still only 3rd, is Nola 3.0 with Rich. And still sitting in 2nd, but it has closed the gap slightly with 52 points this week, but there's still a good 16-point gap at the top from obviously myself with Sol and Kepper with 44 points this week.
Wow, thank you very much. Very well presented. You can do that again sometime.
What's that? What's that tune? It's like 70s thing. The older people.
Antiques Roadshow.
No, you remember that? It's maybe something about it was a radio presenter like really back in the day, and used to have like fanfare music. And used to
just to clarify, Ben, you've said this was back in the 70s. Now there's 7 of us on this call, and I imagine maybe one at best was alive in the 70s.
I wasn't alive in the 70s, but he was famous.
Sorry, Craig.
Do you remember? He used to like call it pop pickers and all that sort of thing.
Eddie, but isn't this like the fucking weird guy on Twitter? The boot like, I'm pop picker.
Yeah, no, not him. I'll find
He's a menace to society. Like.
I'm slightly concerned that we may have gone off track somewhat.
Yeah, Ben, we don't know what you're on about. What was the point you were getting at?
I'll stick it on the group chat.
Rich, I think you actually mentioned it earlier, but obviously we had confirmation that the Crawley game was cancelled. Good call in your opinion? Or when you look at it and what happened last time that we had international call-ups, do you think we could have carried on as we were?
Well, we've got no defenders, have we?
We've got 2 young 17-year-old defenders.
Different ball game though, innit? It's it wouldn't be fair to put them in that position. Also, we want to make sure that we get the 3 points. I think a win in the league is probably the most crucial thing at the moment. And obviously we want to be there where we have a fully fit team. If Frenchie didn't get injured, possibly game could have been played.
He almost certainly would have done it in that game though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And but it's a week off, which is no, I'm not too happy about it, but yeah, shame, but that's all I can really say about it, to be fair.
Do you agree with that very in-depth analysis, Ben?
Yeah, well, my 6-year-old's gutted. He was really looking forward to going because he's not been for a while, and it's a Saturday game. So he's well gutted, but it's the right call. It's a shame really because Crawley was the right team at the right time because they're in abysmal form. I really would have fancied us to break our duck against them. But the international break pisses in our general direction again, and we lose all our players and we get some bad injuries. And it's the right call. It's the only call we had to make. We had to push it back. Injured players get a chance to get a breather, and we've got our best chance of beating them when we play them again. It's just weekend off, and no one likes that.
Well, obviously the weekend off means we don't get to do any predictions this episode because we will all be meeting again ahead of the next game. But we did have a question in the mailbag that certainly caters to Craig's area of expertise, although we know Kieran also has plenty to say on this particular subject. But it comes from Oakus Road, Craig, and it says, need to go to Barrow as it's a new ground to visit after using the train to Crewe. And then I couldn't quite work out how they were punctuating this, so bear with me. First train was late, so missed the connection. Next train had a mad drunk woman singing loudly and got into the ground at 2:55. So he asks, do I get the train and risk it or drive and hope the M6 is okay? He needs our wisdom. Craig, the train driver, would you recommend getting the train?
So what is this? Is this like a new segment, like the Ned Report, Traffic and Travel with Craig?
Yes! Craig, you can update us with train times.
For every away game now, Craig.
Craig, you've done it now, mate. You're our travel report.
I bring quality videos and Photoshop images and stuff like that, and now I'm reduced to fucking traffic reporter for Swindon Town away fans. Oh god. Well, I had a look anyway because I had nothing better to do.
I've been reduced to it, but I've had a look at everything for you and mapped it out and changed it. What platforms they'll be on and what carriage you need to be in to exit the station properly.
He's a good lad, though.
Well, Barrow's like you'd have to go to London and change, and then Lancaster and change. It's a 5.5 hour train journey. It's 4.5 hours by car, but when I looked at that, that's on a Friday evening. I checked earlier. I imagine with Saturday traffic, it's probably 5.5 hours as well. So it'd be cheaper if you go by car, I imagine. But as I said in the group chat earlier, if it was me, I'd go up the night before and stay overnight. You know, because it's a fucking long day, 5 hours there, 5 hours back. So that's what I would do.
So just to clarify, you are an actual train driver. You're not in marketing for any rail networks or.
No, obviously not. No.
Kieran, I was just going to pick up on there, obviously, because I'm going to Barrow, but I'm on a night out the night before. So I'll probably be picked up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So have fun with that. But
By Regina.
You can sleep in the car, mate. It's all right.
Yeah, I know. But I was considering getting the train to Barrow. But then I saw the train prices, and then I thought, yeah, fuck that.
Craig, sort that out, mate.
To be fair, if he's considering the train, he could probably afford someone to drive him up. Like he could probably pay a little driver to go drive him up.
Yeah, I mean, £138 on
Well,
the train.
I believe Kieran used the phrase in the chat. He would save about £1,000 by driving.
Not far off it, Kieran. To be fair, I did the train to Crewe 2 years ago. It was wow. I had no issues. To be fair, I was pissed. So that always helps.
Are we fucking turning into the train line here?
We're running out of content.
We give prices, we give travel advice, we give everything here.
Yeah.
That train missing their connection is probably done him a favour. He's had to spend less time in Crewe. Like it's ideal. You no one wants to go to fucking Crewe. It's a depressing place. And if I lived there, you'd probably just end up fucking jumping in front of a train. It's a fucking
from Swindon.
It strikes me as the sort of place if you live there, you randomly end up going to foreign countries.
Swindon's also a shithole.
You're talking about my hometown like that.
Yeah.
So just to finalise that one, then we're saying don't get the train, find another way.
Yeah, fly to Newcastle. Get the train down from Newcastle. Go out to Newcastle, and you can get the cheapest chips in Newcastle.
So not only are we doing traffic and travel, we're also on the tourist board for various cities in the country to get people out on nights out before the game.
But Newcastle, go to Sunderland. Fucking Jordan.
Newcastle's good night out.
Hold on, have I missed something there? You wouldn't go to Newcastle if you were going to Barrow.
No, but you can make it on the way. Like it's all relatively. You can get a train across to Carlisle and.
Whoa! Hang on! Whoa! Newcastle's the northeast, mate. Fucking, it's on the northwest.
You can do no trains go across. They're not elusively going
Yeah,
up and down the
I mean, you
country.
could-
They don't just go up and down. You can't just go up on one side.
By
Yeah,
that
I mean,
logic,
you could go to
Newcastle.
Newcastle, or you could go to Manchester, which is pretty much on the way. But it's-
You could end up in Gibraltar. It could be anywhere. You know what
Cross
I'm saying?
over to Craig and see if he thinks it's a good idea, please.
I
Okay,
reckon
so-
Barrow would be a decent night out. It's a navy town. I reckon it's gonna be. I reckon there'll be a few good grub places, a few good pubs and that.
So the advice that we as a pod are giving you is
Just go out and get pissed somewhere.
go out anywhere in the country on a night out and end up in Barrow on match day, but don't go by train. Is
Yeah.
what we're saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we used to talk about football once upon a time.
Amazing
Well-
when we got no game on a Saturday.
Given there is no game, we are hoping to put out one, possibly even two, if things go to plan, specials over the next week before the next game, which we will obviously be promoting as they're all confirmed. But that rounds us off nicely, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. Rich is either very upset that it's finished or something's happened in the football, judging by his facial reactions.
Pepe's just been sent off Portugal.
Sorry,
Pepe.
has he?
Oh, he's a dirty bastard anyway, Pepe, isn't he?
He just elbowed one of our players.
Probably
I confirmed
deserved
it.
it.
And on that breaking news that will be about 12 hours later, so everyone will already know it's happened, we end tonight's episode. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Until next time, goodbye.
From him.